world said goodbye to Diane Keaton, shocking footage surfaced online showing what appears to be the actress alive, playing with her dog. The video's timestamp, the location, and her words have left fans wondering if it was filmed before her death or after. The heartbreaking news that shook Hollywood. The entertainment world came to a standstill on October 11, 2025, when news broke that would send shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Diane Keaton, the beloved Oscar-winning actress known for her iconic roles in films like Annie Hall and the Godfather trilogy, had passed away at the age of 79. The announcement came suddenly, unexpectedly, leaving fans, colleagues, and friends struggling to process the loss of one of cinema's most distinctive and cherished talents. The circumstances surrounding her passing were shrouded in a certain degree of mystery that only amplified the public's shock and grief. Emergency responders from the Los Angeles Fire Department had arrived at her Brentwood home around 8:08 a.m. on that fateful October morning, following a call for medical assistance. A 79-year-old woman, later confirmed to be Keaton herself, was transported to a local hospital where she was ultimately pronounced dead. The released 911 audio from the incident includes a dispatcher noting Rescue 19, person down, along with her address, but it provided no further medical details, leaving the public grasping for answers about what had happened to this legendary figure.
You know, the thing that's wonderful about movies is you do them and then they're done.
And you're done.
What made the news even more difficult to comprehend was how sudden it all seemed. Sources close to the actress described her health decline as very sudden and unexpected, noting that she had withdrawn from public life in recent months, stopped her daily activities like walking her beloved dog, and surrounded herself only with immediate family. A friend told People magazine that this downturn was heartbreaking and so unexpected, especially for someone with such strength and spirit, emphasizing that even close friends were kept at a distance as she focused on her immediate family during her final days. As of the time of this recording, no official cause of death has been disclosed, with her family requesting privacy. Reports consistently note the absence of details on the exact cause, with sources across major news outlets like USA Today, Variety, and E! Online uniformly describing it as not immediately clear, not shared, or yet to be revealed. A family spokesperson confirmed the death to major outlets, stating simply that there are no further details available at this time, and her family has asked for privacy in this moment of great sadness. The news was first broken by People magazine, with major outlets including CNN, The New York Times, and ABC News quickly verifying the information through family spokespersons and producers. What followed was an outpouring of grief and tributes that painted a vivid picture of just how profoundly Diane Keaton had touched the lives of so many, both those who knew her personally and the millions who had only experienced her through the magic of cinema. The tributes came flooding in from every corner of Hollywood, each one offering a window into the woman behind the iconic characters. Bette Midler, her First Wives Club co-star, called her brilliant, beautiful, extraordinary, and hilarious, a complete original. Robert De Niro expressed being totally by surprise, while Leonardo DiCaprio praised her as one of a kind and unapologetically herself. Goldie Hawn lamented, "We aren't ready to lose you," reflecting on their plans to grow old together. Viola Davis noted how Keaton defined womanhood through her roles, while Jane Fonda described her as a spark of life and light. Unique is what she was. Perhaps one of the most touching tributes came from Reese Witherspoon, who delivered an emotional onstage tribute at a Los Angeles event. Tearing up, she recounted auditioning for Keaton's directed TV movie Wildflower at age 15, remembering how Keaton had pulled her aside to offer guidance about posture and presence. Witherspoon called her such an original and suggested honoring her by watching her films and wearing a really cool, interesting outfit, a perfect tribute to Keaton's legendary sense of style. Woody Allen, her frequent director and former partner, was described as extremely distraught and surprised, with the news prompting thoughts on his own mortality. Their collaboration had produced some of cinema's most memorable moments, and the depth of his reaction spoke volumes about the significance of their partnership, both professional and personal. But amidst all the grief and tributes, something else began happening online, something that would become a phenomenon in its own right. As fans around the world searched for ways to connect with Keaton one last time, to see her vibrant spirit one more time, they began flocking to her social media accounts, and what they found there would spark a viral movement that continues to this day. Her last Instagram post, a simple yet profoundly touching moment that captured everything that made Diane Keaton so beloved. The post, dated April 11th, 2025, exactly 6 months before her passing, showed Keaton at home with her golden retriever, Reggie. It was a carousel of photos that painted a picture of domestic joy and the simple pleasures that had come to define her later years. The images were unpretentious, warm, and utterly characteristic of the woman who had always marched to the beat of her own drum. The caption was equally simple and charming. Proof our pets have great taste too. Happy National Pet Day from HG and at DIANE_KEATON Blackheart Paw. It was a collaboration with Hudson Grace, promoting her pet collection that she had launched in August 2024, but it was so much more than a commercial post. It was a window into her world, a glimpse of the life she cherished away from the cameras and red carpets. Within hours of the news of her passing, this post went viral as outlets like People, Us Weekly, and TMZ spotlighted it in obituaries, describing it as heartwarming and a fitting tribute. On social media platform X, formerly Twitter, shares spiked dramatically from October 11th onward, with posts from major outlets and individual fans alike garnering hundreds of thousands of views. The photos themselves told a story of joy and companionship. They showed Keaton kneeling happily beside Reggie, pointing playfully to peanut butter dog biscuits branded with the Keaton name. Another image captured Reggie resting contentedly on a custom pet bed, while yet another showed the dog inspecting a cast-iron door stopper shaped like Keaton herself, a whimsical touch that was so perfectly on brand for the actress's quirky sensibility. Media outlets described the footage as capturing her at home in a casual, joyful setting, appearing healthy and vibrant, a stark and heartbreaking contrast to the sudden health decline that would follow in the months to come. The post had been shared for National Pet Day, a celebration of the animals we love, and it served as a beautiful encapsulation of Keaton's well-known affection for her pets, particularly Reggie, whom she had introduced to her followers with characteristic enthusiasm back in 2020. As fans revisited this final post, many were struck by how it seemed to embody everything that made Diane Keaton special: her authenticity, her love for the simple things in life, her quirky sense of humor, and her genuine warmth. It wasn't a carefully curated celebrity image, it was just Diane being Diane, sharing a moment of joy with a beloved companion, and in that simplicity lay its power to move so many people around the world. A final glimpse of joy. To truly understand why this particular post resonated so deeply with millions of people around the world, we need to look more closely at both the content itself and the context surrounding it. Diane Keaton's Instagram activity had tapered off significantly in her final months, with this April 11th, 2025 post marking the end of her online presence. This timing, viewed in retrospect, takes on an almost poignant quality. It was as if she was leaving her followers with one last image of contentment and joy before retreating from the public eye entirely. The timing aligned perfectly with reports of her health declining suddenly, leading to a more reclusive lifestyle in her final months. Neighbors in her Brentwood community noted her absence from routine dog walks, those daily rituals that had been such a fixture of her life. She had even listed her dream home for sale, a 5-bedroom property that she had lovingly renovated over 8 years and documented in a book, describing it as her forever home, inspired by the 3 little pigs. These changes marked a significant shift from her active, community-engaged lifestyle. But in that April post, none of that decline was visible. The images captured a woman who seemed to be thriving, enjoying one of life's simple pleasures, quality time with a beloved pet. The post consisted of a carousel of photos rather than a video, despite some initial media reports mistakenly describing it as video footage. This was an important distinction that emerged as the post went viral. There was no new footage in the traditional sense, but rather a series of beautifully composed photographs that told their own story.
I mean, it occurred to me from the age of 39 on, and why it occurred to me that late is already a problem. I mean, I wish that it had occurred to me when I was like 25, but I came to it when I came to it, and look, I was a slow developer.
The collaboration aspect of the post also deserves attention. Keaton had partnered with Hudson Grace, a home goods brand, to create a pet collection, and this post was promoting those products. But even in a commercial context, Keaton's authentic personality shone through. The Keaton-branded dog biscuits, the custom pet bed, the door stopper in her likeness, these weren't just products, they were extensions of her distinctive aesthetic and her genuine love for animals. Her relationship with Reggie had been well documented on her Instagram over the years, providing a rich context for this final post. She had adopted Reggie, a golden retriever, in 2020 and introduced her to followers with characteristic enthusiasm. "This is my new dog, Reggie. Is she half horse or half dog? Maybe she's insane. I love her." This exuberant introduction perfectly captured Keaton's playful spirit and set the tone for the many posts about Reggie that would follow.
Do you like being a mother?
I love it, sure.
You do. What do you think surprised you most about motherhood?
The thing that has surprised me the most about it is the fact that that baby is truly amazing.
Throughout the years, Reggie appeared frequently in Keaton's Instagram feed. There was a 2023 The Reggie Challenge slideshow showcasing the dog's chewing antics set to Elvis Presley music, and earlier wholesome videos like one showing Keaton singing God Bless America to her pet while sitting on the couch. These posts weren't just about a celebrity and her pet. They were about the genuine bond between a woman and her companion, a relationship that brought joy to both of them and, by extension, to the hundreds of thousands who followed along. Keaton's love for animals was well known and appreciated by organizations like PETA, which paid tribute to her after her death, calling her a true friend to animals. This wasn't performative activism or celebrity virtue signaling. It was a genuine passion that she lived out in her daily life and shared authentically with her audience.
Why do you think you'd never married?
I think that I never married because I didn't want to get married. I didn't choose to get married.
You didn't need to get married.
And the people that I was with, it was best that we were not married.
When the post went viral following her death, media outlets described it as heartwarming and a fitting tribute, and these characterizations were entirely accurate. On X, formerly Twitter, the response was overwhelming. Posts from major outlets like TMZ garnered over 16,000 views, while Australian news outlet news.com.au's posts received over 6,700 views. But beyond the raw numbers, what was truly striking was the emotional tenor of the responses. This authenticity is what made the final post so powerful. In an age of carefully managed celebrity images and strategic public relations campaigns, Keaton's social media presence felt refreshingly real. She wasn't performing for the camera or trying to maintain some idealized version of herself. She was just sharing moments from her life that brought her joy, and in doing so, she invited her followers into her world in a way that felt intimate and genuine. The post also inadvertently became a testament to Keaton's well-documented love for domestic life and the simple pleasures she found away from Hollywood's glare. She had always been somewhat reclusive, with Vanity Fair comparing her to Greta Garbo as early as 1985, but her reclusiveness wasn't about being difficult or aloof. It was about prioritizing the things that mattered to her: her children, her home, her pets, and her creative pursuits. In interviews, she had often spoken about valuing simple joys like walking her dog and maintaining strong bonds with family and friends.
What do you like about yourself?
I like my curiosity.
Yeah.
I like seeing. I think of everything in my life that's had such an effect that is priceless, and it continues to be, is looking. And I realize that as you go along, you think you're going to have one point of view about seeing, but it changes. And it keeps changing, and it makes life so amazing to me.
The Instagram post with Reggie was a perfect encapsulation of these values. No red carpets, no premieres, no industry events, just a woman at home with her dog, finding joy in the everyday moments that make life worth living. As the post continued to circulate in the days and weeks following her death, it took on additional layers of meaning. For some, it was a reminder of the importance of cherishing simple moments with those we love, whether human or animal. For others, it was a celebration of Keaton's distinctive personality and her refusal to conform to Hollywood expectations, even in her social media presence. And for still others, it was simply a chance to see her happy one more time, to remember her not in the context of illness and loss, but in a moment of pure, uncomplicated joy. The phenomenon also sparked broader discussions about pet companionship, especially for people living alone or in their later years. Keaton had never married and had adopted her 2 children later in life, building a family on her own terms. Reggie had become part of that family, offering companionship and unconditional love. The photos captured this bond beautifully, reminding viewers of the profound ways that animals enrich our lives. A legacy remembered through simple moments.
I had a huge crush on Woody right from the moment I saw him. I was auditioning for Play It Again, Sam, and he was 5'7".
Throughout her remarkable career, which spanned more than 6 decades, Diane Keaton had given us so many memorable moments. Born Diane Hall on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, California, she had emerged as one of Hollywood's most distinctive and beloved talents. Her Oscar-winning performance in Annie Hall, 1977, cemented her as a comedic genius, but her range extended far beyond comedy. She starred in the Godfather trilogy as Kay Adams, bringing quiet strength and moral complexity to the role. She earned additional Oscar nominations for Reds, 1981, Marvin's Room, 1996, and Something's Gotta Give, 2003, showcasing her ability to inhabit characters across genres and generations.
I mean, obviously, I want to emulate you.
Oh yeah,
Give me a
sure.
chance.
I thought you were a good anchor.
You did?
I did.
How about, though, the way I delivered the lines?
But perhaps what made her most beloved wasn't just her acting talent, it was her authenticity, her willingness to be herself in an industry that often demands conformity. Her distinctive fashion sense, particularly the menswear-inspired looks she popularized in Annie Hall, influenced generations of women and showed that style could be about self-expression rather than following trends. Her signature hats weren't just a fashion statement, they were practical protection from sun exposure due to her history with skin cancer, but she wore them with such flair that they became iconic. Keaton had been remarkably open about her health struggles over the years. She revealed her diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma at age 21, noting it ran in her family, with her aunt, father, and brother also dealing with skin cancer. She later faced squamous cell carcinoma, which required 2 surgeries, leaving a 3-inch scar on her cheek. She was candid about her bulimia during her early career in her 2011 memoir, Then Again, describing consuming up to 20,000 calories daily before purging, an addiction she overcame through intensive therapy. These revelations weren't made for shock value or publicity. They were offered as a form of solidarity, a way of saying to others facing similar struggles, "I understand, and you're not alone." In discussing her eating disorder, she said, "I have nothing to hide. It's not relevant, but for me it feels good. I think I'm a sister to all the rest of the women, and I'm sure men as well, who have had some kind of eating disorder, and I'm a part of the team." This generosity of spirit, this willingness to be vulnerable in service of helping others, was characteristic of who she was as a person. Her personal life had been marked by independence and unconventional choices. She never married, despite high-profile relationships with Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, and Al Pacino. In interviews, she explained that she didn't want to compromise too much and valued her autonomy. This wasn't a rejection of love or partnership. It was a clear-eyed understanding of what she needed to thrive as an artist and as a person. She embraced single motherhood in her 50s, adopting daughter Dexter in 1996 and son Duke in 2001. She described motherhood as the most completely humbling experience, shifting her focus from self-centered concerns to constant care for her children.
You know, as early as like age 15, I already knew that I was living in black and white. I loved black and white, and I was in love with Cary Grant. And in fact, I named my daughter a C.K. Dexter Haven after Cary Grant in the Philadelphia story.
Dexter, now 29, pursued veterinary technology and married Jordan White in 2021, with Keaton attending the wedding in her signature eclectic style. Duke, 25, showed early interest in photography, carrying on his mother's love for visual arts. Her relationship with her children was private, but clearly central to her life, especially in her later years. After her death, her family released a statement requesting privacy, a final wish that the public largely honored, even as they mourned collectively online. The viral Instagram post, in a way, allowed people to respect that privacy while still finding a way to process their grief and celebrate her life. The digital memorial that formed around that final post also reflected how Keaton had used social media throughout her career. Unlike many celebrities who employ teams to manage their online presence, Keaton's Instagram felt authentically hers, quirky, eclectic, and deeply personal. She posted about architecture, vintage photographs, her signature style, and of course, Reggie. It wasn't curated to project an image, it was a genuine sharing of the things that interested and delighted her. In the wake of her passing, fans on social media urged each other to support pet charities in her honor, a fitting tribute given her well-documented love for animals. This collective action represented a way for people to channel their grief into something positive, to honor her memory by supporting a cause she cared about. It showed how digital mourning can evolve beyond passive consumption of content to active engagement in meaningful ways. The phenomenon of the viral post also highlighted the particular poignancy of final social media posts. In our digital age, these last public communications take on a significance that previous generations couldn't have imagined. They become time capsules, frozen moments that allow us to see someone as they were before the world changed, before we knew what was coming. Keaton's post showed her healthy and vibrant, making the contrast with her sudden decline all the more striking and heartbreaking. As we reflect on why this particular post resonated so deeply, we must acknowledge that it's not just about Diane Keaton, though she was certainly extraordinary. It's about what she represented: authenticity in an age of artifice, independence in an industry that often demands conformity, warmth in a world that can feel cold and disconnected. Her final Instagram post, featuring her beloved Reggie, captured all of these qualities in a single, simple moment. The photos will continue to circulate, shared by new viewers discovering her work for the first time, and by longtime fans revisiting a cherished memory. They serve as a reminder reminder that sometimes the most powerful legacy isn't found in grand gestures or carefully crafted public statements, but in the simple, honest moments we share with those we love, whether they're human or furry companions who ask nothing more than our presence and affection. Diane Keaton's passing on October 11, 2025, marked the end of an era in Hollywood, but her influence lives on in her extensive body of work, in the countless people she inspired to be themselves unapologetically, and yes, in that final Instagram post that showed her exactly as she was, joyful, authentic, and surrounded by love. In a fitting tribute to someone who defied convention throughout her life, her legacy is being remembered not just through red carpet moments and award ceremonies, but through a simple photograph of a woman and her dog, a reminder that sometimes the most profound moments are also the most ordinary. As fans continue to visit that April 11th post, leaving new comments and sharing their memories, they're participating in a collective act of remembrance that transcends the usual boundaries between celebrity and audience. They're saying thank you to someone who gave so much of herself through her art and her authenticity, and in doing so, they're ensuring that while Diane Keaton may be gone, the spirit captured in that final post, joyful, playful, genuine, will live on forever in the hearts of those she touched. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.